briefly look back to Saturday. Despite the results, the reaction that there'd been from all the supporters, they really enjoyed their day out. They enjoyed the performance. I know you were beaten.
Yeah.
But did you and the team enjoy the day?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah. But I wanted to, as I said, obviously in the week leading up to it, I wanted to go there and win the game, or at least come away with something to get them back to Bootham Crescent. You know, for a couple of reasons really. One of them, I think, when we spoke before, I said about obviously it being the last year in the stadium, to have, if we could have had a big cup upset with the last game, that would have been really good. So disappointed with obviously losing the game and that side of it, but I thought there were a lot of positives to come out of the game, and probably the big thing was you saw the reaction from the fans at the end of the game and right throughout the game. You know, the way they sang, the way they got behind the players, and we have to be the ones that creates that. I know I said it after the game on Saturday, but I think that's in my mind now in terms of what I'm trying to do here. That's one of the key things. I want to create that bond between the players and the fans, you know, and they'll get that if the players will get that from the fans if we go about the game the way that we did on Saturday.
We mentioned after the game on Saturday. How then do you ensure that you get that same level of performance in league games in National North?
Well, if we're going to get anywhere in this league this year, that's the standard we have to be at. Attitude-wise, commitment-wise, I do think we have decent footballers anyway, but it's all probably the basics of the game that you can't teach. It has to be in you. You know, you've got to go out onto that pitch with that mentality that you're going to give absolutely everything that you've got, and it's the same in probably any club in the country. The fans will relate to that. I think watching the Man United Man City game yesterday, everyone's going on about how well Man City actually played, but it was how hard they actually worked without the ball. They just stopped Man United playing, and that's at the very, very highest level. You know, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, making tackles in midfield. They're playing against 3 6'4" monsters, you know, and they never give them a kick. And it's them things, no matter what level of football it is. That's what football fans relate to before anything else, and that's what I want my team to have.
And they'll need to produce another performance like the one on Saturday against the Chester side that are going to arrive at Bootham Crescent tomorrow night, knowing that if they win, they go top. Yeah,
it's a tough game. Watch them play. And a couple of years ago, played against Salford when the two lads who were in charge at Salford are obviously at Chester now, and they send their teams out there to have a right go. You know, they get all the players on side, they work the socks off. And we've got a game on tomorrow night. This is going to be a tough game, and if we're not near them levels that we were on Saturday, then we could get found out. So that's the given side of it, in terms of we have to match what they're going to throw at us, and then hopefully then we got enough good footballers on the pitch to go and win us the game. Obviously, you know what's happened today, you know what's happened on Friday in terms of 4 new bodies coming here, added to what we did the week before in bringing Lewis in as well. So probably now there's probably quite a few players here that have got to up the game, you know, because these lads are really talented lads, and it's down to everyone else to stand up and fight to try and get in. If they're in, stay in. If they're not in, they've got to fight to get back in, and then once they're in there, make sure that they stay there. And this is what I wanted. I didn't want people being here and being comfortable being here. I want it to be a fight and a scrap every day out there when we train, never mind what happens on a Saturday, because I want a team that wants to fight and scrap, and they have to do that now to stay in the team.
Yeah, there's going to be a number of new faces once again tomorrow night.
Yeah.
When do you actually say, this is my team now, and not the one I inherited from Martin Gray?
Well, I know obviously from what I've done so far, I've swapped it around quite a lot, found out a lot about a lot of the players. I think things are starting to settle a little bit in certain areas of the team, and that's probably can be seen by who's played, probably more than what other ones have. But at some stage, and I understood what had gone off before, because the players that had come in here, you know, the chairman's backed Martin Gray to bring the players in that he wanted to bring in, and I understood that when obviously I took over as caretaker and got the job. And we did have some decent talented players, some of the ones that are still here, but I think I spoke all along about, even when we had that run of 1 defeat in 12 games, that I was never really I never felt comfortable with what I saw. There was always something that I thought that needs to be better. If I go back to like the Southport game and the Blythe game, when we had to change because of what they were doing to us, I don't want that to be the case. I want us to go and dominate games, and teams have to change to suit what we're trying to do. And so obviously what's happened now is probably pretty much where I saw it and where I felt we needed to be stronger. And we still have decent players in them positions, good players, but it's not comfortable for them anymore. They've got a right fight on their hands now to get in this team and stay in this team, and then hopefully the results will dictate themselves, because actually what's happening here.
You've got a pretty big squad, haven't you now?
Yeah.
Do you now have to try and move some of these players on, and how close are you to letting some of these players go?
There's been quite a lot of interest, even when we were trying to do the work that we've done over the last 7 or 8 days since last Saturday. There's been a lot of phone calls about players potentially to come here. There's been a lot of phone calls from clubs about players that are here already. And if I'm being totally honest, to have 25, 26 players who probably think that they should have a chance of being in the team, well, potentially you've got lads here now that are 2 injuries away from getting in the team. And I think at any level of football, I think that's too many. Worst case scenario, you've probably got to be 1 injury away from playing, or a loss of form away from getting in the team. So the squad is too big. And not only that, there's the financial side of it as well, you know. And in my own head, ideally, including the goalkeepers, probably want to be around 22, if not probably less than that, because what I'd like to do is what you saw on Saturday with young Reece Harrison being on the bench. You know, I want to try and push them through as well, because there's a couple of lads in there that I think, as time goes on and they develop properly in the work that we're trying to do with them, then there's a couple more there along the same lines as what Nathan Dyer. You know, we played the North Allerton game last week, and the 4 kids that played in the game did exceptionally well. And I've done it all the time when I've been in caretaker roles, and I've spent a long time working with the younger players. And that's one of the things that I like, you know. I like working with the younger ones and developing them. One of the things that we've done, obviously, that you've seen in the last 7 or 8 days with the 4 lads that have come in, they're all 25 and under. So we know that we need to have a little bit of experience as well, but it's important that it's the right type of experience to go alongside with these younger ones that are desperate to do well.
I think we all thought on Saturday John Burrow played really well up front.
Yeah.
Can you play Joe Ironside alongside Jordan as a 2?
Yeah, can't see why not. They're both, what I like about Jordan is, I think he represents me the way I see it, you know. He's not full of bravado in and around the place in terms of a loud mouth and shouting and bawling and that type. He just goes out and gives you everything he's got, you know. I think I saw in some of the match reports the other day where he's played up front against three centre halves on his own for the majority of the game, and if you probably ask them 3 lads when they've gone off the pitch, he's give all 3 of them a right game. And I just like everything about him, you know. He's quite quiet a little bit, but what he actually does and what he gives you out on the pitch. And I understand at times it's difficult for centre forwards because they don't score every week, and he had that run where he scored 6 in 6 games on the bounce, whatever it was. But it's him as a person, and the way that he trains every day, the way that he goes about the game when he plays. He makes sure that everyone knows that they've been in a game, and it's up to the rest to follow him. But with regards to Joe and him playing together, I don't think you'd like to play against them 2, you know, because they're both pretty similar.
So does that necessitate a change in formation tomorrow, back to 4-4-2?
There's potential to do that. We've watched Chester quite a bit, and there's a few things that we think we can try and exploit certain areas. We know that we need to get good service into the box because of the 2 of them, and they're a real threat, you know. And we've got to work on things to try and get the best out of both of them. But it's not just them, you know. There's Macca, there's John Parkin, there's Jake Wright, and the challenge is there for everyone now. Who's going to be the 2? If we play that way with 2 centre forwards, who's going to be? Sometimes we'll do, when we played 4-3-3, we played with 3 centre forwards. So there's competition for places everywhere now.
Injury situation. Daniel Parzo, we know he's got his problem with his knee. He's going to be out for a couple more weeks.
Yeah, he's still out with his knee. You know, we tried to push him through because I said after the Bradford game about if everything went to plan, then he'd earn the right. You know, because of what happened there, I was really unhappy when I spoke to you. But he's just not fit. You know, and he's a good pro. He's an honest lad, and he just didn't feel comfortable with his knee. And obviously, we don't want to at his age and the way things are anyway, because there's no point pushing people if they're not fit, and that was why we weren't involved, you know. But we knew we needed to do something.
Josh Law as well, he came off at the weekend, but he's seen him walking around here, he looks a little bit better.
Yeah, he's a lot better today. He was sore coming home on the bus after the game. He'll have a fitness test tomorrow, so it's probably 50-50 at this moment in time. So we're just going to have to see with that one, see how he feels tomorrow, get him in early to do a fitness test, and then hopefully he can be available, because I thought he did a really good job on Saturday up until going off with the injury, and that was probably the time where we got unsettled a little bit, because we had to change personnel around from what we started the game with, but it's just part of it, you know.
Anyone else?
No, just the lads, the two lads, the new lads, because they've obviously not played much first team football for a while as such, so it's tough for them to go.
Is it hard then to throw two new lads in? I expect you to do it, but the two new lads on the back of the two lads who played the first games in a while on Saturday as well. You could have 4 players there, not really played.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult because of obviously the new people, they're new into the building, they don't know the way that we work, probably a little bit they don't know the way that we play as such, but if you think about Kidderminster, the way that they try and play, I know the formation's a little bit different, but it's quite similar to us a little bit, so that's my job, you know, to try and decide what's the right way to go, but if you think it's the right thing to do, we'll throw them in. We're really pleased with how the both of them trained today, so I've got a headache between now and tomorrow night in terms of which way to go.
And tomorrow night could be the last Tuesday night game again under the floodlights at Bootham Crescent. Did you enjoy, I know you didn't play for York City, but did you enjoy evening games compared to Saturday games?
Yeah.
Was that something extra?
Yeah, there's just a different feel about it, you know, it's always the same. I remember, probably throughout my career, but I remember like the Hartlepool ones on, especially this time of year, on a cold Tuesday night when that wind's blowing off the North Sea, and everyone, well, pretty much every team's coming up north, you know, southern softies a little bit, so you're kind of thinking you've beat them before they get out on the pitch. But yeah, same here. I think if I remember rightly, this season the Stockport game, you know, I think that was one of the best performances that I've seen this season, especially the second half. And that's what we're hoping for tomorrow night. You know, I want my team to go out there and have a right go tomorrow. Set the same standards that they did on Saturday. We've got a couple of extra bodies as well, so it's refreshing for the group. It's refreshing for myself and Stuart. The fans are probably looking forward to coming tomorrow night and seeing the players obviously in the flesh and watching them play. And if I'm being honest, out of what's happened the last 4 days in terms of the players that have come in and the two lads that have come in today, I'm excited about that. You know, if I'm being totally honest, I think I'm quite shocked, you know, to actually get them two from there. I think Joe's record's something like 28, 30 goals in 51 games, something like that. And then there was another stat, 25 in 47 games. We're lucky to have him. And then big Kennedy. You know, I think as you walked in, you said, "Blooming hell, look at the size of him." You know, that presence. He's got pace. Strong lad, you know, young lad as well, so I'm excited about tomorrow night.
Briefly, the loan deals at the minute for 2 months.
Yeah.
Could they turn to permanent deals?
I hope so, yeah. If they come in here and do well, do what we're hoping that they're going to do, because we wouldn't have brought them here if they weren't. We didn't have that mindset in terms of what they were going to come in and do for us, and then hopefully then everything goes to plan and we can go on a good run of performances and results now and then get to January and sit down and have a chat again. But I think the reaction when they pulled up at the training ground this morning was probably a complete surprise. You know, it's outstanding training ground, and as I got out of the car and they're pulling in behind me, I said, "What do you think?" You know, they just couldn't believe it, you know, and then they're in here, they're getting fed, all these things that I spoke about in the past, and they said at Kidderminster they've not had anything like this. So I said before, really fortunate, every one of these players, myself, to be at a club like this. But now we have to really knuckle down and go and put performances on and get what we saw on Saturday.
Finally, FA Trophy draw, Kidderminster away. Possibly the hardest tie you could have drawn at this start of the competition. Yeah,
it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Obviously, they're a good team. They've got some good players. As what's happened today, we've got a couple of players from there that want to go back there and want to go and prove a point. You know, whatever it is. So we'll look forward to that when it comes around, but obviously we need to try and get back going in terms of we had that bad week, you know, we've got to get a good reaction from that now and really knuckle down and start stringing some results together.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, important do you regard the FA Trophy, Sam? Because obviously the club have got a good record and they've won it twice.
Yeah.
Are you hoping to do it?
Yeah, I just want to win every game.
Yeah.
You know, whatever competition that is, it was like the same on Saturday, the Swindon one. Every game of football I want to win. Every training session when the lads are training, I want them to go and win. You know, whatever it is what we're doing in training, just have that competitive edge and that mindset where no matter what it is, you got to be a winner, because if not, you'll get found out at some stage. You can't just be happy going about things every day and not really having that competitive nature where you're quite comfortable as you are, and you know, go and win everything that you can possibly win, go and win.
Yeah.
And that's what I want us to do in every game, and when the trophy game comes around, same with that.
Yeah.